found other ways to pass my time. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I just figured it out. Like, I'm not like, honestly, I'm not like dying, like, or anything like that. I've been able to manage and just kind of push through it, which is weird, but it's true for some reason.
Sheesh, man, you make me feel like I'm sucking at life. 'Cause I'm losing it over here.
Bro, I mean, I've had a lot of things going on, so I've just been a little bit distracted too. But honestly, getting that Cal brought me the Xbox the other day, and he dropped NCAA, and honestly, it's been a game changer for me. The past couple of days, I've been hitting it hard, and I feel like I'm so invested in my dynasty right now, and I feel like it's helped me kind of get through it. I feel like there's actually college football going on.
Absolutely. Well, I know this was a few weeks ago, but just give us your quick input. So what was week 1 like at spring ball? The only week at spring ball.
Only week of spring ball. It was good, man. Definitely a lot of positives. I gotta shuffle back real quick. Derek King honestly looked super, super legit. Like every time I saw him throw, I remember last offseason kind of coming in and watching Tate Martell for the first time. I remember being like extremely, extremely unimpressed and just being like, okay, like this guy, like, the hype was around him. Like he had that 2-minute highlight reel against like Tulane or whatever it is at Rutgers that he looked fantastic. And then like Derek King was like just the complete polar opposite. Like you saw right away that this kid could throw it. This kid, like, there's something different about him. And then the second practice, the Tuesday that they opened it up completely, he was just on fire. I mean, like he like the first day walking out of practice, he hit 4 straight receivers, like on 4 straight plays, 4 straight completions, and that left me super impressed. Tuesday, he hit D. Wiggins on a bomb perfectly in stride right in front of us, and that was just like ultra impressive. Then he comes around sprinting all the way down to the pylon, meeting D. Wiggins there, like absolutely flying, like beating everybody to the ball. Like the kid is so fast, and so I was super impressed with him. Let me see. I'm trying to think of other things. The receivers, I thought the receivers look good for the most part. I on it, like, you kind of lose the freshmen in the shuffle. Like, you don't even kind of realize that they're freshmen just because you kind of like the way they're moving, like the pace at which they're going. They all kind of blend in, like Xavier Restrepo looked really good. That was the first time I'd actually seen him compete in live action at all. And I was pretty impressed with how smooth he is and how sure-handed he is. I mean, then the rest of them, Daz Worsham looked awesome. Keyshawn Smith, to me, might be that kid might be a star here. That might be the biggest steal that the Hurricanes have had in any class in quite some time. I really think that he's extremely, extremely talented, and I think the ceiling's very, very high for him. And defensively, we didn't get to see a whole bunch just because we didn't get to really see a lot of offensive versus defensive action. Corey Couch did look good in the coverage drills that we did see. I believe on Tuesday we saw the whole open practice. I think it was only one pass that I saw caught on him, and that's that. We're very thin at that corner, so there was a lot of reps going in and out there. And Corey Couch definitely stood out, so I think that he's somebody that could potentially step up, and he kind of needs to with how thin the cornerback room is. I'm trying to think of anyone else. And then like physically, you just see like the defensive line, and it's just a bunch of freaks of nature. Like Jalen Phillips just looks absolutely massive. Greg Russo was bigger than the last time I saw him, and he's a very large human being regardless of the time frame in which you encountered him. Quincy Roche looks very, very strong. I mean, I think that I think it's everything we wish Trevon Hill would have been. I think we're going to get that from Quincy Roche just because he's not going to have that gap, which he didn't play after the second game of the season, and then he had to wait all the way till the end of the summer to enroll. Then he had to get back into football shape. Like, Quincy Roche's literally just packed his bags, moved to Miami, and picked up right where he left off. So I think that that's going to be a really, really massive addition. And then the offensive line, you got to see. That's always wait and see mode with the offensive line, just because you don't really know what you're going to get. Obviously, with the new system, it's going to be a lot quicker. They're probably not going to have to do as much. It's just kind of like it's not. I don't think as much is going to be expected out of them or demanded out of them, just because of how quick everything's going to be going. So we're definitely going to see there, but we're definitely saw some shuffling. Zion Nelson doesn't look like he's going to be a left tackle. He's actually been working as a second team right tackle. So that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. Of course, it was only a couple of days into spring. Avery Huff at linebacker, that's a position that I've been really worried about, and he looks like he's the real deal. I mean, he's long, he's fast. I think he's more of a Manny Diaz type of linebacker. He's not kind of like the stockier type of Shaq Quarterman where he's like kind of a run stuffer. I think he's going to be he's going to be able to do a good job like protecting the pass as well and just like being able to cover guys. So I think that I feel a little bit more optimistic there just based on what I saw. And yeah, I mean, just based on the 4 practices that I was able to see, that's pretty much my 2-minute rundown of that.
No, that was perfect, bro. That was awesome. And I want to ask you guys, and I'll open up. I'll ask you first, Kelly. Give me 3 players that or you think will surprise a lot of people this year for the Canes.
Surprise a lot of people. Yeah, I wasn't ready for this one. I think we're gonna see. I do think Avery Huff is gonna be one of those guys that I think he's gonna contribute, early and often here. Let's see. The receivers, man. I think we're gonna see a lot. I can't point out one guy, I think, but like a Jeremiah Payton type of guy, I think is gonna produce on. I think we're gonna see him step into a pretty nice role there, and hopefully hopefully Chaney and Knighton come in and dominate too, man. Like they get reps, often and early, and between them and Cam Harris, I think we can see something pretty special on offense, man.
Okay, that's good. What about you, Jordan?
3 guys that are gonna pop. I don't know, man. I gotta go with Jeremiah Payton just because of how worried I am about the wide receivers. I know that was just said, but I don't know, man. I'm actually really intrigued to watch Jafari Harvey this year. I know we're loaded at DN, but nothing would make me happier if we're still getting to the QB like crazy. Even when our starters are rotating out. So let's go there, and then I'm going to say Avonte Williams today. So
I love that answer. What about you, Gabby?
Just for the sake of being different, I'm gonna go John Campbell. I'm gonna go John Campbell. I believe he's gonna be our starting left tackle. I think that this system suits his skill set a lot better. I just think that working with Garen Justice, I think we should expect to see a much better offensive line. All of them are coming back. I think John Campbell is someone specifically that is really going to benefit from this. So I'm going to say John Campbell. I'm going to go someone on the defensive line, and I'm going to go with one of the tackles. I'm going to say Nesta. I think it's time for Nesta to kind of have his be what everyone expected him to be. It's not very easy to come in as a defensive tackle and just kind of impose your will right away, but he's going to be going into his third season now as a University of Miami player, and I think that it's time for him to really step up and be that trench bully that everyone thought that he was going to be at one point. And my third guy kind of was a sleeper for me last year, but I think the way that Rhett Lashlee runs his offense and the way he utilizes tight ends, I think that this guy could have a sneaky good year, especially if Brevin does continue to have those hiccups with his health. I think that Will Mallory is really going to benefit from this offense. I think regardless of the tight end that plays the most is going to do really well. So assuming Brevin maybe doesn't come back right away or just can't start the season or just has another setback, I think Will Mallory, even regardless, I know that they're not afraid to run 2 tight ends. I think Will Mallory could be set up for a pretty big year.
I'm a huge fan of Will Mallory. Everyone knows. Remember fall camp last year? Mallory was killing it. Like the talent is there, and I love Nesta too. So my 3 guys, I honestly think I think Mike Harley is going to have a really good year. I think people are kind of forgetting him in the midst of Pope and Wiggins. I think Mike Harley is going to be good. I think not a lot of people are talking about Gervin Hall because he struggled a little bit as a first-time starter last year. I think Gervin's going to do really good at safety along with Bubba Bolden. And then my last guy, I was not a fan of. A lot of people bring him up, and I wasn't a fan of him just because of how small he was last year. And Gabby, you talked about him a little bit ago, but Corey Couch, I think he's going to be really good in coverage as a cornerback. So those are my 3 guys.
Yeah, those are solid. I really like Corey Couch. I think that there's a lot of potential there. And Gervin has a very, to me has one of the highest. I know Kev is huge on Gervin. He's been talking about Gervin for a long time. And even Matt Doherty, who was the former director of player personnel, when he came on Storm Search to talk to us before we kicked off against Florida last year, he said Gervin Hall was one of those guys that he expected to take a really big step forward. So I mean, Gervin Hall is someone that could potentially be set up for a really, really big year, especially with the depth there that, I feel like we have a lot of guys, especially in the safety room, that we're going to be able to rotate. I think that he's going to benefit from that more than almost anybody.
Okay, so I got one last question before we send you guys off. But so gun to your head, does Manny Diaz coach not this coming season, but next season? So does Manny make it through this year? Gun to your head.
Yes.
Kyle, you want to go, Kyle?
Cali says yes. Yeah, I mean, yes under the premise that he's made. I mean, he's done everything we've asked him to. So everything as us as a fan base, we don't have much to complain about right now because, we called for a new offensive coordinator. We got a new offensive coordinator. We wanted to change on defense. He started kind of taking over defense that more than Blaker did. And we brought in the quarterback, brought in Roche. I mean, I think he's done everything that we've asked him to. So, if the production follows the decision, then I don't see why he wouldn't be here next year, and hopefully for a long time after that. Last thing we need is more coach turnover.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Oh, and while you were talking, I thought of John Travolta as Al Golden. How great would that be?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right, Gabby, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I agree. I think that Manny Diaz is gonna be the head coach in 2021, unless it goes really bad. But I don't think it's gonna go really bad. I mean, my kind of take on the whole thing is, a lot of people get their first head coaching job not at a program like the University of Miami. A lot of these guys start off at much smaller schools, and they're able to kind of go through their process, make their mistakes and all that stuff. Manny Diaz, I mean, it just worked out that way that his first head coaching job was at the University of Miami. Like 4 years before that, he got fired from Texas as the defensive coordinator. Or like it wasn't like he's not like he wasn't like being groomed for this necessarily. He kind of just this opportunity kind of just fell on him, and I think you got to let him go through his mistakes. Last year was a huge one. He's got to learn from everything that happened. Of course, I'm not making excuses for the guy, but I think that things are going to be different this year. I'm hoping they're going to be different this year. He, like what Kyle said, he's made all the right moves. He went out, he got a quarterback. He went out, he got the offensive coordinator. He's made all the moves that he's needed to make in order to practically make those moves to make 2020 better, significantly better than 2019 was. And so I think he does the right things, unless it goes like really, really terribly. Yeah. And even if it's like really, I'm trying to think of how bad it really needs to be. I think even with like a 7 win season, I think Manny Diaz will still be the head coach. Honestly.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, that's a hot take, but I really do think that he's gonna be I really think that they're all in on him.
No, I'm with you. I agree with both of you and the explanations you gave. I think he did everything we asked him for, and it's gonna buy him another year, unless it's catastrophic. I think it'd have to be as bad as this year for him to get fired. Honestly, I know that's different than what I was saying on this pod like 2 months ago. But now that the dust has kind of settled from the season and everything, he's done everything the right way, or at least he's done everything we've asked him for. So, honestly, that's kind of on us if it doesn't work, right? We asked for speed and tempo. We asked for new O-line coach, and we got all these things, and we're happy about it. So, if it doesn't work, doesn't that kind of mean that we asked for the wrong things? I don't know.
No, that's you guys said it perfectly, and I completely agree. But hey, we loved having you guys on. I know I've wanted to have both the Urrutia brothers on at the same time, and we got to do it again. We love you guys. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Always a pleasure.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
We'll do.
Peace,
See you guys later.
Yeah,
guys.
Bye.
I love those guys.
Oh yeah, dude, they're the best. I wish they just lived down the street so all four of us could hang out all the time.
I know. And I loved that we talked about The Office. I love that.
Yeah, we should